Hello, hi, welcome to a new kind of 24-hour vlog. New for me. I was supposed to start this yesterday. I wasn't gonna do this yet, but then Aline's book club, shout out to Aline's book club, or Discord for the book club, I'll put it in description. We are doing a weekend readathon that technically started yesterday, Friday, so it was supposed to be 3 days, except I read one chapter of a book that I'm not gonna read during this because it's for another vlog that I've been reading for like 2 weeks. Should I just DNF? Yes. And so I am kind of in a reading slump, and also haven't been feeling great. Also I couldn't see partially out of my right eye for reasons that were in the previous vlog, but basically there was an infection and I looked like I had a black eye. My eye was swollen. It was great. It was great. The swelling's down like 90%. So that's why I'm not wearing sunglasses. I was planning to start this today wearing sunglasses. And just being like, this is what we're doing. Because I've had to do it before. For the same eye, I think, that I had the allergy where my skin was peeling off. That was a fun time. Anyways, it's gone down. It's whatever. So I can see it out of the eye now. It just does hurt when I blink most of the time. And so reading with my eyeballs doesn't seem like a fun idea, especially because I also have a migraine. It's like every weekend. I don't know why, but it is. And so this will be mostly audiobooks. For this, that being said, I am in a reading slump and all these other issues are happening. So I don't know how much reading I'm actually going to get done. The first book I'm going to start with is Annihilation. The reread, I'm doing a reread of the first one just so that I can read the rest of them. Because the audiobook is like 6-ish hours. And so I can turn on my green lights for migraines. It's a whole research thing. Shout out for Sarah and Rain for that. Because I do know they watch these sometimes. So I am planning to later this afternoon, because it is almost noon. Shush. Just turn off my green lights, turn off all the other lights, close my eyes, and just listen to that whole audiobook. But you may be like, but how does that make sense for a 24-hour reading vlog? Like, why would you go read Black Sails? Because that's kind of what I'm in the mood for right now. Don't ask questions. When this is supposed to be a 24-hour reading vlog, Rose, what are you doing? This is the kind where you start, like, you continue the timer when you're actually reading. So you're actually reading for 24 hours. And so in normal 24 hours you just set the timer for 24 hours and you try to do as much reading as you can in that amount of time. It's over a period of, I think most of the ones that I've seen, like a week. Just whenever you read, continue with the timer. And when you're not reading, pause it until the 24 hours is up. That is the thing. Another thing is I do have a lot of audiobooks from Libby that are due, like, soon. Like, one's due at 9 p.m. tomorrow, and I have just short of 14 hours left in it. And there are 50 people waiting for it. So I don't think I'll get it back soon. So, like, I'm stressing about all the reading I do have to get done because of the library. But also, I'm at the point where I'm stressed about it, but everything, my body hates me. So I'm just not doing it. So maybe doing this now will help with that. We'll see. Anyways, that's it. That's the intro. I'm going to drink more coffee and actually watch the Pirate Show. I did just watch a 3-hour deep dive video, so I know everything that happens in the show. Yes, I do. Well, all the main points, plot points, but I don't care. We're gonna watch a gay pirate show. And I will update you probably when I finish Annihilation, when I read Annihilation, when I sit down and freaking read. Oh, hi. I finished a book. It took me 4.5-ish hours of actual reading. 40 minutes of that was yesterday. Right? Because somebody watched a season and a half of Black Sails yesterday. I'm about to finish season 2. I'm on the last episode. I like paused halfway through the last episode. I was like, I gotta finish this book first. Because I have a feeling once I finish season 2, I'm not gonna be able to stop watching. Right, and this is the book that I just finished. Lights Out was the one that was due today at 9 p.m. Actually, exactly 1 hour from now. So, you know, I decided to postpone my watching just to finish the book, which I did today. That's all I've done this afternoon. Just read the rest of it. And you know, I think the moral of the story is if you put two instances of bisexual pirates and their thruples in front of my face and you expect me not to become obsessed, then you're the one in the wrong here. Anyways, I read Lights Out. I read another dark romance. I am going to compare it to another dark romance I just read, like the last book I finished before this one. You know, on like Tuesday. Whoops. Because that one is in the previous reading vlog, the dark romance reading vlog. This one I started in that one as well, but didn't have time to finish it. I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna bring up to a slip just to state that I liked the reading experience of that one more, but the ending really went downhill for me. Lights Out, the whole thing was, I honestly expected to like it less once it reached around the halfway point, because I heard around that point it's just constant them banging interaction and less about the actual relationship, and so people usually get bored at that point. I didn't have that issue. I found it fine / enjoyable the whole time. I think the reason why I liked it so much, I say so much, I'm giving it 3.5. I'm giving it the same thing I gave Twisted Love. I think the reason why I liked it so much is the banter. The banter, iconic. And then basically the whole premise of the dark romance vlog, the resolution I gave in that whole vlog is that I like it when the female main character, if it's a straight romance, has agency. And that is a very strong implement in this, where she, like, throughout the book, you're reminded multiple times, as well as, like, she is every time they go at it in a dark way, right, that she just has to say one word and it all ends, right? But also, like, before, when it's just the stalking, before it gets to, like, the actual relationship aspect, and he's taking care of her, right? Like, I don't mean sexually, I mean, like, actually taking care of her. Like, she's worked a double, she's worked, like, 40 hours straight as a ER nurse, like, she's tired, and so he drives her home in the snowstorm so she doesn't have to pay for an Uber, and brings her snacks because she's hungry and stuff like that, and, like, shows the driveway for her the next morning and gets her food for her fridge so she can have breakfast in the morning, like, stuff like that. But he recognizes that she's gonna be scared of him for valid fucking reasons. And so he's like, the only weapon here is gonna be the one that you have. Which, both a knife and a gun. The gun is holding blanks. I would like to note this, and she doesn't know that, but she also still has the knife. And I think we should all recognize that she is literally undressing him with a knife as he's driving, and he's into it. Like, he is also into it when she's in control. Like, this isn't, like, they are both switches. They're both swaps. And so, at any moment, she can top him, and he knows that, and he loves it. And the hint of some stuff, this is a similar thing in Mindfuck, where it hints at some sexual things in which she's the dominant one, but, like, doesn't actually show it, and I'm just sitting there like, no, show it to me. You forced me to read 6 different sex scenes where he's the dominant one. Let me see her be the dominant one in the bedroom, please and thank you. Anyways, yeah, they do slay together. That's a thing. That's a tagline on the cover. The couple that slays together stays together. That is actually something he does say at one point afterwards. Anyways, it wasn't like great, but I had a good time. My main complaint is, bitch, why the fuck is it so long? It's like 13 and a half hours long, and I don't understand why. I don't understand why. I don't think I'll be reading the sequel, but I finished a book. It's the 4th book of the month, and we're on the 13th. I thought it was the 12th. Fuck. Also, like, I got notifications that 3 separate books from Libby. Well, technically 5, because 2 of them I have both ebook and an audiobook. Are all 3 of them due in 3 days, because somebody borrowed all these books on the same day, and now this is back when she was reading like 6 books a week, okay? So you can't blame me. Anyways, I will probably read one of them. I've been listening to like an hour of audiobook before I go to bed, right? I'm just laying in bed with my eyes closed. So I will probably do that after I do my Duolingo tonight. If I had to guess, let me guess which one. Because it's gonna be the one that I don't have the ebooks for. Most likely. I say that, but I also want to play Death Stranding tomorrow, and if I'm going to play Death Stranding, I should listen to an audiobook. Though, I think I have others that are also due very soon. Yeah, there's one that's due in 4 days. So, like, I could also listen to that one. Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute, which is I think it's YA. I think it's bisexual. It's Italian. I have the first Brown Sisters book somewheres on the shelf. But yeah, I've heard good things about it. I've finally got my hands on it. It's just over 9 hours, so like that's 2 hours of gaming, so that's like delivering 1 package in Death Stranding. I recognize now how many books this is going to be, even with all the audiobooks I have. Oh my god. I mean, this is good because I'm behind on my reading in general. So I can catch up on all the books I have out from Libby that are all gonna be due soon. So, it's fine. It's fine. I'm clocking this makes me read more in general in comparison to the normal 24-hour vlog. But also, it feels like less because I'm not sitting there reading for 24 hours straight. So it's not me just sitting there doing all the reading at once in just one sprint, basically. It's me over time, so it feels like I'm reading less, but I'm definitely reading more because I'm purposely pausing it every time I take a break to do something else. Anyways, bye. I'll update you next time I finish a book or something like that. I don't know. Oh, I have not pulled up the timer yet to show you, but I think it was like, come on, iPad, 2.5 hours? Something like that is how much I read yesterday. Reading the novel version of Under the Oak Tree. I didn't clock there were different versions. I didn't clock it. I have read the webtoon version, the first chapter, like in 2021 or something like that, right? So it's been a bit. And let me tell you something. The novel, completely different. I don't know if the graphic novel is completely different. I did put a hold on that one at the library as well to see. My assumption is the graphic novel is more like the actual webtoon, and the novel is basically the author got the ability to write version that was more adult, and that's what this is. Anyways, a lot of people have DNF'd it, especially after chapter 1, and that's understandable. That's understandable because a good chunk of chapter 1, there are only 11 chapters. It is just short of 500 pages. Reading 2 chapters was 71 pages yesterday. Anyways, a good chunk of chapter 1 was a flashback to their wedding night in which consent, we don't know her. At least then. So I get why a lot of people DNF'd it, because it was a lot to read. Like, it wasn't the worst thing I've read, but it was definitely up there, right? Knowing that, like, we're supposed to root for them to be happily ever after, right? Also, this book, just miscommunication. The other major complaint I saw about this book is because she has a stutter, the way that it is written, so that, to show that she has a stutter, annoys people. Listen, I get it, but there's like, what other way is there type thing, right? That's why I assume, on top of ableism, that's one of the main reasons why there's not really main characters with stutters. And I think the reason, because I'm pretty sure she has a stutter in the original graphic novel version, and so I think, if I remember that properly, I think it works better in a graphic novel form, because you're not reading these giant lines of text with all the stuttering and breaking off and ellipses and all this stuff. Instead, it's just like one speech bubble every whatever panels, because she doesn't talk much, because of this and other things, we'll talk about it. So I think that's why in graphic novel form it's more popular. It was popular enough for it to get traditionally published, right? So that makes sense. That makes sense in my noggin. So like, if it bothers you, yeah, go ahead, DNF it. I think it would be really annoying to have a narrator who doesn't have a stutter read it for the audiobook. So if you're doing the audiobook, I think that could be an issue. I haven't actually listened to the audiobook, so I don't know that, but like, for the love of God, I hope, I assume they didn't get somebody with an actual stutter to do that, but I really wish they had, because then it would actually be done in a way that was accurate. It just didn't feel weird and annoying every time. So, you know. Anyways, yeah, that happens. That happens. From at least that first chapter, 4 years ago, that I read, the similarities are their names. She's Maxie, he's Rifkin, and she's a redhead, and she has a stutter. I'm pretty sure that's the same in both. And that because of this, they were forced to get married, despite the fact that she is the daughter of a lost princess and a high lord, the firstborn daughter. On top of that, she was forced to marry this lowly knight, right? And then immediately after their wedding, he has to go fight in battle, and 3 years pass, and so he's back, and she has to try to keep him, because if she doesn't, what happens to her, right? And then there's also miscommunication in that, if I remember properly, where like he doesn't fully understand what she's trying to say or tell him or do. It's much worse in the actual book, let me tell you. And so it's like them trying to understand each other, two people from completely different lives, to be happy. And it's cute. It's cute in this, no. Like, within 10 pages, we have that flashback. So there's that. And then most of chapter 2, was them bang-a-langin'. Consensually this time. Imagine that. And I don't know if it's the amount of dark romance I've read recently that's just desensitized me. But I'm like, I know it's bad, but like, I'm willing to look past it if one of two things happen. Well, no, if two things happen, and one of them is already happening, is what I'm trying to say. The one that's already happening is that, she clocks that wasn't okay the first time, and she is scared of him because of it. And there's like this whole thing when they do it again, she's scared of it happening like that again, and we're not in his head, so I don't know if it was a conscious effort to make it about her, and make her feel safe, but he does it. And so it's not, like, the first time for her. But she still, like, is scared of him, one, because of her past with her abusive father, but also because of that, which is very valid. Also, just clocking the fact that her mother died because she was forced to be a broodmare and it literally killed her. So, you know, as you can imagine, the idea of intimacy and everything about it scares her. Valid. Okay, I get it. The other thing is, if he clocks what he did in the past was wrong and not only apologizes to her, but actually puts in effort to prove that is not how you wanted to be, who you want to be. Like, reading it, it was like, it was written so that we could, like, understand that this wasn't how we wanted it to be. But reading it as a woman from her point of view, anyways, so, like, if that happens, I've read stalker romances that are worse. So, I think the issue is that because it was originally, like, this cutesy, very YA graphic novel, people go to pick this up and think similar vibes. And then they got that instead. And so it didn't hit its target audience with that. I think that's the main issue here. Also, I would like to clock that this is just, like, a darker version of Sis into the Villain, the way it's written. Like, it's not to the full extent, but definitely a lot of it, like, the writing, I have clocked some things were the same thing. Like, the way that the look on his face is described is the same exact way, 2 sentences apart. And I'm just sitting there like, okay. So that's fun. And yeah, I think that's everything. A lot of the book is just miscommunication. One, because she doesn't properly know how to communicate with him because she's never taught how to. And so it's like him just assuming things because of who her father is and about her, and then her not understanding how to speak her own desires, her thoughts, her opinions, her wants. And so she just says whatever she thinks he wants her to say, because that's how she's been raised by her abusive father. And so he's all like, hey, I know this dress isn't nice. Like, is it as much as you would approve of and you're used to? But it's as good as I can get right now. And in her head, she's like, I've always had to hand me downs of scraps from my sister's dresses that everyone prefers. So I don't mind. Like, it's a nice dress. Or he brings her food and she doesn't eat much because as a lady she's taught not to eat much, right? So she eats just a little bit of the soup, and her stomach's also bothering her, so she doesn't want to have, like, rough, tough bread and whatnot. Valid. And so, but he gets mad that she won't eat, thinking she's not eating enough because it's not the food that her as a lady is used to. And it's all like, oh, the taste of a lady is gonna be hard to find something of your taste and all this stuff. And I'm just like, bitch. And I would like them to have a sit-down conversation where they talk about this shit, because whenever she attempts to, he cuts her off because it takes her too long because of the stutter. And that's great. I love that. I really don't. Also, there's just, like, a thing where his fellow knights are very creepy towards her. And she is rightfully scared of them, and then they laugh at her for being scared of them. And they're doing this because they don't like her father. Hear me out. She doesn't either. Right? And so he just tells them off, like, a bunch, like, multiple times. And he's like, you don't have to be scared of them. I'm like, bitch, you want to bet? What's the other thing? Oh, yeah, I wanted to say that we get glimpses of the abuse she gets from her father. And I'm not an expert, but there should definitely be some scars. And I know it was in the middle of the night the last time so it was dark. But she was completely in the nude, and also he did have to change her at one point when she was unconscious. We're not talking about that. So, and hear me out. You think he would have noticed those. I will probably forget about this aspect later on if it's never brought up, but if at another point later on in the book he brings up the scars that she has because of her father, I will scream. Anyways, I really, my dreams for this is that they band together to fight against her father and his injustices. You know, very similar to my favorite Tetsudaira, honestly. In that aspect, I wouldn't mind it like that. I wouldn't mind it if they did it together. I have a feeling that he will fight her father in some way, but, like, not in the way I want, and that's gonna be disappointing. Anyways, I've been talking for 12 minutes about 71 pages of a book that I'm not really liking, and I should probably DNF, but I will finish it. Don't worry about all the audiobooks I said that were due soon. I renewed most of them. More of them I didn't. I still could, so it's fine. Oh, welcome to the wet hair update, because I just washed my hair. Yes, I do clock. This means I have to do 7.5 hours of reading today and tomorrow in order to edit this in time. I don't know why I turned that off. Yeah, most of this, 20 minutes of this, since last time, was me starting, I literally just was, like, chanting the name of the book in my head. Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute, which is Talia Hibbert's YA standalone, which I read the first 2 chapters of 9% in that 20 minutes while I was doing my skincare last night. I'm not liking that much. I'm going to read it because I am fucking stubborn. If you couldn't tell from under the oak tree. But yeah, no, it's not my favorite. But I do have to, today's the best day for me to do some baking for an event on Sunday that isn't Easter. So I will show off my biscuits later maybe, but then I can just, like, listen to it while I do that. I figured it was gonna be a good book for that. That's why I didn't renew my loan, because this is the one that's due at, like, 4:30 p.m. today. Being as it's, like, 9 hours long and it's just a YA romance, I can just sit there and listen along as I do other things. Other thing, the rest of the time was me reading one chapter Under the Oak Tree. I think I'm, like, on 22 pages in now, if that sounds proper, right? I don't know. It's 25%. I'm 25% into this book. And I clocked, part of the reason why I don't like it as much is because the writing style reminds me of Scarlet, the bad one, not the Lunar Chronicles one, the bad one that I read in February, in which both the female main characters and the focus of the book speak in a way that's different from everybody else. And this one, it's not annoying because there's, like, actual reasoning why. In Scarlet, it tried to give me a reasoning, but I just sat there like, bitch, you fucking lying to me because I'm listening or reading all the other characters how they speak, so you fucking lying to me, bitch. But also, the way both of them have very dark, deep topics they bring up that the main female character goes through just so that she can go through hardship. And then it's never delved into more. It's just, like, brought up and then brushed by and never brought up again. And I'm just sitting there like, cool. What the fuck? And so, yeah, I'm not liking it. It's gonna be a 2-star, but I am fucking stubborn. Hello. I'm a Taurus. It's a Taurus. Okay? It's a Taurus thing. Are we in Taurus time? We're close if we're not there yet. So, like, that's my excuse, okay? Other things, oh my god. She finally clocks, after all the time traveling, they're finally at his place, his castle, and she clocks, oh shit, he thinks I grew up like the dutiful princess, blah, 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 like my sister, but I didn't, and she assumes this is her father's doing because you can't have anybody like assume that he's mistreating his daughter, his eldest daughter. So he just told people that she was sickly and that he doted upon her and all this stuff. And so he believes for that she is just a delicate flower who's been protected her whole life and only knows the niceties in life and doesn't understand hardship. Right? And she fears. She's like already been threatened multiple times if it leads to divorce, right? He's already had better options of marriage in like the past like month that he's turned down, right? So she is all like, hey, if he learns that this was all a lie, that my father just gave him his defunct useless daughter so that he could force his mans to go to war for him, then that is definitely grounds for, if not divorce, then any abuse. And so I have to keep it all a secret from him. He can't know any of this. And so it's just her trying hard to be the girl that she's supposed to be, have anxiety about it because if she, right? But like us as readers clock that he's really into her, which is weird when you remember what happens in the first chapter. I think what happened in the first chapter, that scene, their wedding night scene, happened just because like every chapter apparently has to have a sex scene. So, yeah. Anyways, so she's dealing with that, and then she's also dealing with the fact that all the servants like don't mind. One, all the people like him, and the servants don't mind her stutter. They're just like, sure, whatever. And she's never experienced anything like this, so she's just like, what? And that's that. That's my update. I have other audiobooks I can listen to after this one, and then there's a good chance it's just gonna be, I should go make sure the next Yona the Dawn, it's gonna be Yona the Dawn. Let's be real, I decided when I went to take my shower this morning, it's gonna be Yona the Dawn, probably all day tomorrow, because, and hear me out, the sweet serotonin from Yona the Dawn, it will make me feel things again. And also, maybe it'll get me out of this reading slump. Hello, hi. Today is a low spoons day. I got maybe 5 hours sleep. And that's how I drafted today. I'd like to get it down to 2-ish. Right? And then if I have to, I can read for 2 hours first thing in the morning. Tomorrow. And spend the rest of the day. I'm not stressed or tired. You are. Most of this was finishing Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute. I didn't read it while baking my biscuits, which are down here. I made biscuits. They were yummy. They are yummy. Maybe I'll have some with my coffee. Maybe I won't put them away. But yes, I finished that book. 3 stars. It was fine. I just don't think it was the book for me. But it was like still Italian Edward, so still good, right? Cute. Love that it was a standalone. Thank God. I'm in the middle of too many series. Also, first book. It is now the 17th. Yeah, it's 17th. And the 16th of April is the first time I finish a book for the readathon that I'm doing for this whole month. Whoops. This is why I am the way I am. And then I read, well, then I finished the chapter I was on. I started already, of Under the Oak Tree. In which, guys, I'm just bored. It's just, it was just 50 pages of them banging 16 times, and then her dealing with the fact that she's living in a new area that has new customs and money systems and stuff like that, and so she's being put in charge of things, because supposedly that's like the type of thing she's supposed to be doing that she was never trained in, and then she's trying to make understand of all of this stuff, and she's just there like, huh? But she doesn't. What the hell did I press? Oh no. Oh, I pressed world clocks. Better not fuck up my timer. I didn't. One worry, I didn't fuck up my timer. Anyways, you know, it's a lot of that. Him being okay, I guess. I don't know. His love language is like 80% acts of service and 20% gift giving. And so the gift giving, she understands a little bit. The acts of service, she's like, why is this man holding me as he feeds me? Like, that isn't what normal husband and wives do. Why is this man washing my hair for me? Like, that's not what normal husbands and wives do. And whenever he compliments her, she's like, I don't know why he is doing that. Why does he compliment me? And I'm just like, girl, oh my god. Anyways, he has to go hit up with the king. He's already waited long enough. Which is kind of a thing, because the king kind of isn't the biggest fan of him right now, because he did turn down a proposal from the king to his daughter. So, which is like a whole thing. And Rifkin is all like, by the way, that's his name. His name's Rifkin. It's all like, I'm already married to Maxie, so like that makes no sense. Right? But now the king feels all butthurt because he turned down his proposal to the princess because he's already married. You know. So he's gonna go away for a amount of time, and I think it's just her POV. So I think it's just gonna be her alone without most of the knights in a castle in a strange place, very far from anything she's known, that she's only been at for maybe a month. And most of the servants are very kind to her, but she's worried that, like, if she shows any weakness, they will turn on her and start being mean to her like her father's. And I'm like, no, that was just because your father's a fucking bitch. Anyways, that's what's happening. I'm gonna try to finish it today. I don't know. I have no idea of it. I'm concentrating so hard. Yeah. Anyways, that's the plan. I'm gonna hopefully finish that. But today, I'm just gonna take a me day and play some Stardew on my own because people made me mad yesterday. And read one of the other audiobooks that I have to read. Fake It Till You Bake It, I think. I have like 2 days left on my loan, and it's, Libby says 10 hours, but like that could mean it's 9 hours and 5 minutes, or it's 11 hours, or it's 10 hours and 45 minutes. Like, there's a large range there. But it shouldn't take me much longer than 3 hours. We can do it. We can do it today. I'm gonna go. I haven't even had coffee yet, and it's almost 9. This is what I mean when I say it's low bones day. Low bones? Low spoons. And also low bones too. I think I made some of them a little too thick, but whatever. They're good. Have some with my coffee, I guess. Because there's no way I can eat. There's 8, 9 more in here, so 11. Made 16, I guess. There's no way I can eat 11 just on Sunday. During the event, so I'll eat a few in the morning. Goodbye. Hello, hi. Yes, it is Friday. I moved everything around so that I can still do this because a girl is tired. Okay. Anyways, I did start Fake It Till You Bake It. I'm like 14% in. I don't know how many hours that was. That was probably like 1 hour total to get that far. I'm liking it fine. I got to the part where like they meet pretty early on, but I've gotten to the part of like we understand why she starts working for him technically, and why it's enemies to lovers, like the enemies aspect, why it's enemies, and it's fine. Like, I do have to finish it today because it is due tomorrow at 10 a.m. at the library, but that's fine. Anyways, I came to update you because I didn't finish a book. I DNF'd one. I did it. I DNF'd under the oak tree. 201 pages. I got 201 pages in. I was like, that's not quite halfway, but over 200 pages is plenty to count it for the readathon that I was reading it for. And then I was like, went to mark it off, and it's not even labeled as one of the ones that I have to read, like one of the prompts I have to finish. So that is fine. I feel fine about that. Anyways, yeah, it wasn't good, and the last 25 pages, I went to bed last night. I tried to read like 3 pages is all I read of it last night, because I was just like so annoyed. I was like, I don't care anymore. And I was like, if I DNF it, and then suddenly I was a much better mood once I thought of that. So I was like, okay, I'll get to page 200. So I read like 26 pages, and in reading those 26 pages, I sped read all that, because all of it was just her being verbally abused for not knowing conversion rates off the top of her head, and for knowing nothing and being such a bad person who can't do anything and has been sheltered her whole life. Like, this is things we aren't true for her. She just never was taught any of this stuff, right? And nobody's bothered to like try to teach her. They just assume she knows how to do it. And so when somebody catches her not knowing how to do it and doing it wrong, they get so mad at her. And I was like, bitch, you want to fucking fight? Right? Also, hear me out. The whole entire, I don't think, I did say I could get through what happened in the beginning of this book if he recognizes what he did was wrong, right? And apologizes and puts effort in, all this stuff. I'm gonna go with that's not something that happens based on the fact that where I'm at, he did say right before he had to go visit the king, I'm sorry we do it so much, but I think you like it too. And it's like asking her if she is into it. And I'm just saying, 1, if you couldn't tell, 2, we know she is because we have to be in her head. There's so many sex scenes in this book. So many. I'm like on chapter 7. I think chapter 6 is the first one where there isn't actually a sex scene. Right? But, I'm like 90%, I can't tell when she reaches completion. I can't tell, because half the time I thought she was, but there was one time when it blatantly said she did, and so I was like, wait, so all those times before she wasn't? I'm so confused. Also, I'd like to know, it's like her 3rd time ever. There was one time 3 years ago. There was the night, shortly after they came back together, right? And then when they're first at the castle, like the second night at the castle, they do it again, and they do it like 5 times that night. And explain to me why the 3rd time they're doing it from behind. What? Alright, it's just a lot of people having lied to her or not told her things her whole life, and her trying to hide this fact from him, thinking that he's going to abuse her once he knows the truth. And yeah, also the things that I talked about where, like, I would think that she would have some scars from some of the stuff that abuse she went through, especially on her back. Yeah, well, based on the fact that they do it from behind, he definitely clearly sees her back, because she is definitely naked during the scene. And he's like, your skin's so soft. I am 100% sure there are no scars there. So he does not clock, and he does not recognize. And so he just thinks his wife is scared of him because he's a lonely soldier. So, like, who knows what he could do. He's not a gentleman. Meanwhile, she's scared of him because he is a 6'5" man who's control of her whole life. And the last man who was in control of her life was her father, who abused her every day of her life. But you're right. What do I know? Anyways, book everything I want this book to do is not gonna do. And also, it's not good. And also, it's like at the point where it's like I would have to choose between giving it a 1.5 and 2 star. So why would I continue it? Anyways, DNF. At 201 pages, I'm moving on with my life. Hello, hi, it's 103. 10:56. And I did just realize I haven't done my Duolingo yet tonight. Anyways, this should be right. There was a thing where I was sitting there listening to the audiobook for like half an hour, I think. I'm pretty sure it was half an hour. I'm like 98% sure. And then I went, oh shit, I didn't start the timer. So I just let it go for half an hour. As I hung out with friends for a little bit there. Anyways, I got most of the way through Fake It Till You Bake It. And then we're doing a Pirates of the Caribbean marathon. No, I have not watched any of the Buy Pirate Show flag sales since last weekend. I watched 2.5 seasons in 2 days, and I have not watched any since, and it is hurting my insides. I'm gonna try to make room for it this weekend, okay? Anyways, we have 6.5 hours left. It's gonna like take me 2-ish hours, 2.5, to read the next audiobook I want to read. 2 hours approximately for the volume of manga I want to read this weekend as well. And then I don't know what I'm gonna do after that. I could read any number. You know, maybe I should like pick up the arc that I have to pick up. I recognize this. Or one of the arcs that I have to pick up. I have 3 currently. One of them I can fit into another vlog, so I'm not worrying about that one. At this exact moment. But the other 2, like I have the new FT Lugans. I should read that. Right? I just realized all 3 of the arcs I've rated. 2 of them, they're the author's second books. The other one's FT Lugans. And I've rated the first books I've read by all 3 of these authors 5 stars. Anyways, I think I'm scared of it because the last one I did not like that much. But maybe I'll pick it up when I'm not doing an audiobook or the manga. I'm hoping the manga will fix something in my soul, whatever's wrong with me. Because Yona the Dawn does that. Anyways, I finished Fake It Till You Bake It. Because after Pirates, I had like an hour left. And I was like, if I really have to, if we go, I thought we were going to watch 2. I thought we were going to watch number 3 as well. So I was like, if it goes over, I can like go to bed immediately and then wake up in the morning and finish it. But that didn't happen. So I did finish Le Book at like 11 p.m. And my general consensus is 3 stars as well. It's like meh. I did contemplate giving it a 2.5, but then I realized the actual characterization of the main characters did not annoy me as much as highly suspicious and unfairly cute. So I thought it'd be unfair to rate that one 3 stars and this one 2.5. Because like there was more effort. I don't know if more effort is the proper word. The effort put in, the exact way the characterization was hinted at in this one, I liked more. It just still was not done in a way I enjoy. It was not it for me. Also, they just tied it up in an elbow at the end. Not it. But it was fine. I just sat there and listened to it. I delivered a lot of packages in Death Stranding. I say that, but I'm playing in hard mode, and mules, when you don't have the actual guns, real difficult. And so I kept on dying, and I am just stuck at this one spot, and that's fine. That's fine. I'll deal with that when I'm not also trying to pay attention to an audiobook. Um, I don't know. I don't have anything to say about it. Like, I didn't hate it. I'm not mad I read it. I won't continue the series, but I read it and it knocked off one of the many books off my TBR, which is the point of the readathon that it was also for, by the way. Second one that I actually have to read. Done. We're over halfway in the month. And yeah, 3 stars. I'm gonna go to bed in half an hour. So I'll update you when. I was gonna say when I read the next audiobook, but I may do the manga in between. Though if I do the audiobook and then the manga, I'll view the manga as a reward to get through the audiobook. And then I can watch My Pirate Show and then Pirates at Night. Too many pirates. Where's my Pride and Prejudice? That Sunday. Anyways, bye. It's 11:02 p.m. I should go. Bye. I'm not gonna hit play for a dead show. So let's see it go off. It's past 10:30 p.m. That's when I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to bother other people, but also I don't want it to bother me. I'm half asleep. I will admit that I did go over a good 30-ish minutes just to finish the book I'm in the middle of. Or was in the middle of. I finished it. All those plans I said to end it, the vlog with, none of them happened. I immediately went and yesterday picked up Forged by Magic, which is the book club pick for my book club, or the one I host for last month. I'm great at this. It's okay, everybody else is behind too. In fact, I think the only person who read it is the person I read it for, but she hasn't read like most of the others. So that's so funny. We love that. What is this? This is what I imagine Legends of Hades. I still haven't read that one. Mixed with That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon, which is the first book in the Mead Mishap series. She really liked this one, so like I'm gonna recommend that one to her. Because it's similar vibe. Right, it follows. Okay, like I know their names, I can like picture them, but I don't know how to pronounce them because they're fancy names. So I'm gonna go with the first letters of their names. She's D, he's R. I remember his was like in my head. I was pronouncing it in a way that was kind of like Revian or something like that. I don't remember. Anyways, D is half orc, and there is a conquer ice giant lord who basically genocide, killing everybody to take over all their lands, right? And she basically his personal mercenary, especially against dragons and people who forcefully use dragon magic because it makes you go crazy and then burn a bunch of people alive, which is what happened to her parents, right? And so he promised is to let her go, freedom, woo. If she goes to check out this suspicious place. So she goes to do that, and immediately storm hits. Ship is ruined. She gets thrown overboard. She's now on this magical island. Hear me out. Hear me out. I like the middle of this book. The middle of this book was great. I was just having a great time. The beginning portion, a specific part of the beginning portion, I didn't like. And then the ending I didn't like just because the third act breakup was basically him believing all the sabotaging was her fault and everyone turning against her, and threatening to imprison her, like the evil overlord did to her. Knowing this, and then being like, we will think about setting you free after the holiday's done, knowing that if she doesn't leave within 2 days of the holiday and like getting back home, the thing that the king has, or emperor has to like control her will kill her. So they're like, maybe we'll send you back. Which also connects with the thing in the beginning that I don't like. I'll talk about it in a second. But yeah, the aspect of somebody being blamed for something they didn't do does trigger me. That is a thing. I don't know how to mark that on Storygraph. Like, what? But I don't like that. But that's like not the book's fault. That's like a plot thing that I personally have issues with. That's like how in the third, I can't think of the name of the series all of a sudden. Didn't I own the first two? I think I gave them to the fish, honestly. The Gentleman's Guide to something piracy, that series. I think it's something sibling series. Anyways, the last book I soft DNF'd because the anxiety representation was too accurate and I was having panic attacks reading about him having panic attacks. Like, it's one of those things where the triggers. Another one, Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades. I put it down because I learned there's outing and I'd be triggered, so I decided no. It's just one of those things where it's not the book's fault, it's a me thing. The other thing is a book's fault. It's really noticeable when a magical island has this aspect where nobody can harm other people, right? Like, it's this magical law, whatnot, where you can't harm other people, on this island or repercussions, right? It's supposed to be like this whole peaceful utopia, blah blah blah. It's really noticeable when really early on you notice a loophole where, like, yeah, sure, if you like purposely attack somebody, yeah, repercussions, my dude. But in more than one instance, there's an aspect where somebody will do a thing where it doesn't directly harm them, but knows by doing that thing it harms them, puts them in danger's way, and or could kill them. Or specifically could kill them. But that's fine. That's fine. Examples include D's main like, there's a thing with orcs where freshwater harms them. Physically harms them. It's like acid on their skin. And so there's a rainstorm coming, like the first day she's on the island. And so she goes to like stay at the inn, but she doesn't have any money because she just washed up on shore. But they don't trust her, right? Because who she's the captive of. And so she's all like, hey, I know, just let me stay in the corner until the storm's over, all the stuff. And they purposely throw her out knowing that it will harm her and could possibly kill her. Like, at a later point, she does get drenched with enough fresh water where she does almost die. So I do know it could kill her. And not only is everybody fine with this, later on she just becomes besties with that person. Another is there's these games to get a wish specifically from the island, as long as it doesn't harm somebody else, right? And is competing, and she's basically his assistant in it. And during the first trial, she's watching over their raft, with the other assistants and this really bad guy. He's the nepo baby of the island. If you catch my drift. He has won twice previously, and the last time he won, he tried to get the island to give him a different woman every year, like just wash up on shore. And then after the year was done, they would lose their memories of their relationship, so that if he wanted to, he could try to bang them again. The island didn't give them to him because harms people. We love that. Nobody caught, hey, maybe we should keep an eye on this bitch. And like at one point he like forcefully tries to grab our sister, which is a thing that's like part of the reason why he tried to make the island do that, because he has a thing for his sister. Right? And then when Dee goes to stop him, he's all like, ooh, you're attacking me, that's against the law. Similar thing during this specific trial, he baits one of the other people into attacking him. So they're disqualified, right? And then in the process knocks them out and just leaves them in the water. So they're actively drowning, and the only reason they don't die is because Dee goes into the fresh water and saves their life and almost dies herself. But that is considered fine. They're like, well, technically it's a loophole. You catching the issue here? This bothered me every time it came up. The other main instance is the real person who's doing all the sabotaging, blah 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 stuff, that she was blamed for, blah blah blah. His reasoning was because he wanted to go get revenge on evil emperor guy, knowing that it, one, in the process of him doing this, he is harming other people, but also he, in an attempt to win, but also he is planning to use dragons to do this, which would also harm other people, because dragonfire has other casualties. We all saw season 8 of Game of Thrones, right? And so they learn this and they go, oops, this is a really bad thing he's done. We should put him in slave labor, basically, in the mines. The island decides this because this is bad. But every other time somebody, like, it's on a bigger scale, but it's the same thing, it's fine. Anyways, that bothered me so much. 3.5 stars. It was a fast read. I do recommend. I love how I'm saying that. I assume one of the future books is about our sister. I don't know. It was a fun time. It took 160 pages for them to kiss. They did other things before they kissed, let me tell you. I was literally messaging people like, finally. I had a good time. It was a good book. It was slightly less self-aware version of the Mead mishaps, because that one, like, a lot of stuff was like intentional, like puns with the name and stuff like that. Like, that was done, that one not in this one, but it's still a good time. I recommend. 3.5 stars. I can't believe I read 3 whole books this week. Wild. The reading slump hit it hard. Anyways, this vlog is done. It's probably close to 11. I haven't done my Duolingo yet, and I'm still wearing a dress. Bye. Normally because somebody had to push back this vlog, so that didn't happen last week, but normally weekly videos, we have Wednesday gaming videos, which are from streams, on Twitch, and Saturdays are booktube videos. That's normally how it goes. Every other week podcast, there is supposed to be one this week, question mark. I should just say there's 2 Fridays a month there's a podcast, because the schedule is loose. I just want 2 a month. There's gonna be another Allie Hazelwood for the next one, so stay tuned for that. All the things are linked below, and all that jazz. Goodbye until the next video. This was such a mess, oh my god.